and welcome to Story with Hala 43. I am so glad to have you here with me this week on this week's Story with Hala. Looking back at the intro, I'm thinking wow, I've really changed. Well, mostly the faces sort of stay the same, but I don't know why. I just looking at myself, I feel like there's a difference. It's also especially because of my hair now. But that was only something like 4 months ago, which is crazy. But moving on, today we're going to be reading something a little bit different. We're going to be reading a chapter book, and every week we're going to be reading a small section of the chapter book until we finish it. Something like maybe 2 chapters-ish. There's 120 pages in this book. It's called Slug Days. So let's start. I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to be using Epic Reading. Okay. Slug Days by Sarah Leach. Illustrations by Rebecca Bender. I knew it was going to be a slug day as soon as I climbed on the school bus. Mike wasn't there. The new driver didn't know our secret handshake. He didn't pretend to close the door before I was inside. He didn't know the front seat was reserved for me. Dan and Sachi were sitting in my seat. I squished between them. "Hey," Dan said. "Get out. 2 to a seat, Lauren." Mom told me when people look upset, you should try to make them feel better. Dan had a frown on his face, and he was using an angry voice, so I figured he must be upset. I gave him a kiss to make him feel better. He pushed me. I pushed him back. He pushed me harder. "Stop it," Sachi said. "Lauren, go find another seat." "No, this is my seat," I said. "Brad," Sachi called to the driver, "make her move." The driver pulled the bus onto the side of the road. He put out the red stop sign, turned on the flashing light, and turned to face me. "You're going to make everyone late for school. Find a new seat now." Fine. I didn't want to sit with Dan and Sachi anyways. I stomped halfway through the bus and found an empty seat. I ignored the other kids. I didn't want to try to figure out what they were feeling. Also, before I read the rest of this book, I just want to mention 2 things. First of all, this girl in the book, we don't know her name yet, but this girl has autism, and this book is talking about autism awareness. I think either autism or ADHD or ADD, I'm not sure. But so now you know that before we continue on with the book. Also, the second thing is that I'm sorry if there's any background noise. The PC is fanning. The fan is making some noise right now, so I apologize for that, but let's just continue on. I curled up in the corner of the seat and pressed my cheek against the cool metal of the side of the bus. Reaching into my pocket, I pulled out the squishy ball Dad gave me. He said I could bring it to school to help me cool down so I didn't flip my lid. He said that kids like me with autism spectrum disorder didn't always see the world the same way as everyone else, and that I needed some special tricks up my sleeve. Mom said I had trouble reading social cues, which meant I didn't understand what other people were feeling. She said the ball might help me when I missed their social signals and got into difficult situations, which meant not understanding what kids were thinking and getting into fights. I didn't keep the ball up my sleeve, but it did help sometimes. I usually liked the way it slapped my fingers when it bounced against my hand, but today, even the ball didn't make me feel better. Today was a slug day. On slug days, I felt slow and slimy. Everybody yelled at me. I had no friends. Chapter 2. When the bus arrived at school, I waited for everyone else to get off first. I didn't try to high-five Brad like I did with Mike most mornings. I felt jittery, like something was missing from my day. Instead of going down the metal stairs to the playground like everybody else, I crawled under one of the pine trees and that lined the school by the bus loop. The damp dirt and pine cones under me smelled like a good place for slugs, a good place for me. The tree made a tent above me. I bent my knees so my boots wouldn't stick out and give away my hiding spot. I liked the way the pine needles poked the palm of my hand. I tried wrapping my hand around a branch to see if I could get the tree to poke all 5 fingers at the same time. The bell rang. I ignored it. It was already a slug day. Why would I make it worse by going into class? Dan would push me again, and I'd get blamed for it. I poked the needle some more. "Lauren, are you out here?" said Miss Kelly, the duty teacher. Called my name over and over. Miss Kelly, the duty teacher, called my name over and over. I took my knees in tighter to keep my boots out of sight. She saw me anyway. I heard her breathing near my tree and saw the tips of her toes as I peeked towards the parking lot. Lauren, The bell rang. It's time to go in. Stop wasting everyone's valuable time. I sighed and scooched out from under the tree. I didn't know what the big deal was. There were 200 kids and a whole bunch of teachers in the school, and she was only one adult. I wasn't wasting everybody's time, just hers. If she didn't want to waste her time, she should have stopped looking for me. She held my hand all the way downstairs to classroom 163. Her hand was sweaty and warm, and kind of slippery. I tried to pull my hand away, because I knew I wasn't a baby anymore, but she just gripped tighter, like a Venus flytrap. Chapter 3. Good morning, Lauren, Miss Patel said when Miss Kelly finally let go of my hand. I wiped my hand on my skirt and walked to my hook. The custodian put my gym bag on my hook again. He did it every night. I lifted the gym bag off the hook and put it on the floor. Then I put my jacket on the hook, followed by my backpack. I lined up my boots underneath my backpack and made sure they were centered. I pulled my shoes from their cubby and was tying them. I didn't like it when the bows were uneven. When Miss Patel came and stood beside me. Lauren, you've already missed 10 minutes of reading because you were late. Please hurry. I sighed. If she stopped interrupting me, I'd get my bows done properly. Now I had to start all over again. When I had them perfect, I went to get my book for reading. Miss Patel chimed the bell. Please put your books away, class, and return to your desks. I wanted to slam the book on my counter. Reading time was one of my favorite parts of the day. But I remembered the last time I'd done that. I slammed the book so hard, all the other books slid off the shelf. They landed on Abdul's head, and he had to go to the secretary to get some ice. I had to go to the principal, and Mom and Dad were both there. Everyone told me again how I think differently from the other kids, and that's what makes me special. But I still have to be fair to the teacher and the other kids in the class. We had to make a plan for my safety and the safety of the kids in class. I suggested maybe Abdul shouldn't sit under a shelf of books. It probably wasn't safe because we lived in an earthquake zone, and Miss Patel shouldn't make me stop reading until I was done. But the adults came up with a plan of their own. I'm not sure why they bothered bringing me to the meeting if they weren't going to listen to any of my suggestions. Miss Patel must have remembered the plan, because before I could slam the book on the counter, she put a hand on my shoulder. Here's your eraser, she said. Squeeze it. She gave me my favorite eraser, and I squeezed so hard my knuckles turned white. They looked like 4 mountaintops on my hand. Miss Patel must have taken the book from me, because when I stopped looking at the mountaintops, my other hand was empty. As you can see, his eraser. So now we've read 3 chapters, and we're going to continue that until the book ends. And so I hope you're all enjoying it so far. So now the craft we're going to do is much easier than the usual crafts. All you're going to need, and I think you can already see this coming, is a sock and some scissors. It's really, really easy, and it takes up like 5 minutes. Literally just 5 minutes. But actually, way less. To go get a sock and cut it, like a minute or 2. So this is a really fast craft, and it's also it can come in handy on winter days or when you're just holding a hot drink and you don't want it to fall out of your hand because it's so hot, So what you're going to need to do is you're going to sort of start by mapping out where you want to cut your sock and make that into the cup warmer. Yes, we're making a cup warmer. So you're going to start by mapping it out. So I'm not sure if that's the sentence you're mapping it out, but that's just what I'm going to say. You're just going to cut 2 lines, or actually 4 slits where you want to cut your sock, and we're just going to go ahead and cut it. It's really that easy. Actually, this comes in handy because I like drinking things like warm milk and even sometimes lattes from Tim Hortons. And most of the time, it's really hot in the car, especially like most of the time, obviously I'm in a car. And it's really hot, and I can't keep my hand like straight because of the moving car and because it's really hot too. So this can come in handy. It's just kind of hard to cut it a bit when you don't have as sharp scissors. And actually, here's a tip. If you want to sharpen your scissors, just cut through tin foil. Really easy, and it sharpens your scissors quite a lot. But once you cut it through, make sure you have an adult around, or just be really careful because it can be really sharp. So as you can see, again, I am still cutting it. This will not budge. This is really thick fabric. Okay. Okay. Trying to cut it. Okay, this is going really hard. It's not letting me cut it. Ah. Okay, the fabric is really thick and really isn't cooperating with me here. But I am going to try my best, and we still have another section to cut too. So this is actually it might take more than 2 minutes. I really expected it to budge easier, to be able to cut easier. But we are almost done. And okay, we have the top part done. Yes, we still have more to go. So I'm just gonna angle my camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Again, sorry for the background noise. My PCE sounds like it's going to blow up right now. The fan is being really loud, so I apologize for that. If you can hear it, I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but I sure can. Okay. I still can't cut it. This is being really annoying. Okay. I'm cutting the front and the back separately because it's too thick to cut it all by itself. Okay, almost there. Also, this is not going to work over a mug, or maybe if you cut a hole in the side, it may work over a mug because of the holder, because mugs look like this. So maybe if you could cut a hole to put this through, but for me, I'm just not going to go through that because I don't want to, accidentally do something wrong or cut in the wrong place and then screw it up. So I'm just going to be putting it over cups without the little holders. And actually in mugs, that's what the holders are for, to keep it so that you don't have to hold the cup while it's hot. But if you do not have the handles, or you're using one of the like the cups that they give you at a store or something, then you could just use this. Keep it in your bag at all times when you go out, or if you know you're gonna go get coffee. And it's really helpful and very easy to make. It just takes a little bit of time to cut it. And we're done. Boom. So again, that took longer than I expected. That took about 5 minutes. I expected it would take like 2 minutes. But now let's put this over. I think it was the cutting. Oh my god, I actually love that. And if you have a slippery cup too, it holds a better grip. And it makes it look prettier. I actually really like this pattern on this one sock. It's fluffy too. So I think this craft was a success. What about you? In this situation, I'm only drinking some water, but if you were to be drinking a hot drink or coffee, this would really come in handy. Anyways, that is the end for Story Hala 43. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Be sure to try out the craft, and I will see you next week to read another section of Slug Days. Bye.